We are part of Highlinks family. Purple State is where myself, Magesh, is from. And we are specialized in conversational AI. We exist from 2017. We started as a startup in Chennai, India. And we are part of the bigger Highlinks family. So when we started Purple Slate, it is our conviction that the conversations what we have with computers will change over a period of time. And it is possible to have human-like conversation with computers. And with GenAI and ChatGPT, this becomes a reality. And today we have a new wave of innovations coming through with GenAI. So our session today is going to focus mainly on GenAI. So I'm co-founder of Purple State. I have close to 30 years of experience in the industry. So I started as a digital transformation specialist for the banks, leading banks like Barclays, Standard Chartered, Citi, and other banks. So my passion is about building enterprise digital applications, which is helping to business grow. Definitely, these digital landscape is something which I'm very fond of and then very passionate about. I curiously follow whatever the changes happening in the industry. And this has even helped us in the GenAI path, where we are able to quickly launch into what is happening there. See, we took this session mainly specific to credit unions, members engagement. There are a few reasons why we have taken this as a use case. And probably we'll quickly run through that. See, members engagement for credit unions are very, very critical. Unlike other financial institutions where profit is, when in the other financial institutions, profit becomes a major goal, wherein in credit union, the focus is on the member. So the support to the member becomes very crucial. And some of the stats which we have taken from the Gallup and other systems, it also shows that the new member growth is decreasing the last 6 years in credit unions. And in 2023, globally, the deposit growth has slowed down. And even the loan origination declines in the credit unions, mainly due to the higher interest rates. So this is a worrying trend, actually. So that is where we put the focus back to what credit unions does best. So credit unions have a strong engagement with the members, and it is built for the members by the members. So the focus is to again change how the engagement can be made better, so that there is benefits which can be reaped. So some of the benefits, with the better engagement is you will have people, the members staying longer in the CU. Because in today's digital economy, it is very difficult to acquire new members. The competition is pretty high. And that is one of the reasons it is important to retain the existing customers. Second is comparing to any other financial institutions, right? Credit unions has a lot of products and they are very specific to the localized usages. But unfortunately, not many of the members are aware of all the benefits of the products. So the idea is to see how do we make the engagement better so that we can expand the portfolio of the members. Finally, how do we make the member credit union as a primary financial institutions, be it paying a bill or setting their financial goal. So how credit unions can become a partner to the member in their financial world actually. So that's a main benefits what you draw out when you have the better engagement. So that also brings us to set some focus on where do we want to invest time to improve the engagement. So on the right side, what you see, basically you have put up two major focus areas. One is today we can focus on digital. So digital is like, this is the age group, basically like, they are well versed in the branches, but at the same time, they are moving into the technology. So they're embracing the new technology and they don't mind trying out uh, the new services offered digitally. So this is very critical, mainly because 53 is the average age of members in credit union in US. So this age group, they are very comfortable both in branches as well as they are not averse to do any online transactions. So they are like one focus group where we can improve the engagement by offering better digital solutions. The second focus group could be the digital first generation. So in the next 30 years, right, there is expected 30 trillion US dollars to transfer from the baby boomers to the millennials. So they are entering the markets and they are going to spend the money. And definitely the way they look at the customer experience is different from what the baby boomers saw, like, the previous generation has had. So definitely, like, they want to experience the digital first, and they try to do self-service in whatever they do digitally. So having said that, right, there are definitely challenges in members engagement. First is like the competition from the banks. So the graph on the left side, on the first, what you see, this details down the engagement gap between banks and CUs. So what does that mean is like, the CU had a better engagement with users. So the gap used to be like 21% in 2014, which means CU had 21% more engagement with the end member than the banks. But I mean, thanks to COVID or whatever it is, like the last 4 or 5 years, you can see this is in decline. That's mainly because like the banks and financial institutions, they find innovative ways to reach to the customers. Today, most of the payments are happening through the non-financial institutions. And the banks are today offering like almost like all the lending, everything through digital. So it becomes a tough game for credit unions to compete and to retain the same level of engagement. So that's one reason like credit union should innovate to retain the advantage. The second major challenge is millennials and Gen Z expectations. So millennials are like, they feel when a product is as good as uh, a top-notch product, then the services or the experience what they want to feel from the organization also has to be equally good. So that is what the surveys shows, like the 83% of the people feel the experience is as important as the product. And in the world of immediacy, there is expectation that if someone goes to the website of credit union or they are looking at the product, they expect a callback or a follow-up from the credit union immediately. Third, they also want the customer reps, whoever they talk to, either the call center or the person, the relationship manager, whoever they speak to, they want to have a consistent experience. They want to know all this information about the member to be known for everyone. So this is the growing expectations in the millennials and Gen Z. And finally, there is a talent retention. So CU industry has a huge churn rate in terms of employment. So there are 41% of the employees, they are changing every year. And that is very huge. And whenever there is a new staff is being onboarded, it is very difficult for them to keep the same level of engagement. And for them to even understand the products, it is going to be a huge challenge. And finally, training them is as difficult as offering new products. So we have seen all the problems. We started with why members engagement is very critical. We talked about the benefits and the focus areas, and we talked about the challenges. So now it is about how do we solve it, or like what could be the solutions we offer. So generative AI as a technology can help to solve many of these challenges. So we will have a quick introduction to the generative AI so that we all get to know what we are going to experience using generative AI and how it can help to solve some of the problems we talked about. So before getting into the details of generative AI, I want you to be aware of some of the terms what we will be discussing. So there is natural language processing. Basically, like this is the field of study in artificial intelligence, where the computer systems try to understand the human language. And apart from understanding, it is about how does it process the information and respond in the human language. The second one, as the NLP progressed, today we have something called large language model. So the large language model is like tuned in terabytes of data. And they are like large unlabeled data set. So a labeled data set is like you have the data as well as the label for the data. But in the unlabeled data, the data is one big chunk actually. So in large language model, like you have huge data set with huge number of parameters. So for example, Microsoft Kafka, they are trained in 13 billion parameters. So language model which is trained in 6 billion or 7 billion, they are called small language models. And today, like it is very common for language models to have 13 billion, 14 billion kind of parameters. So how do you make these LLMs work, or like how do you get information out of LLM, or how do you generate content out of LLM? So that is the new field which is called prompt engineering. So this is a process of how do you feed information to LLM, or how do you ask the LLM the right question, or like no, how do you ask it in a way like it can respond the way you want it to respond. So it's basically a process of crafting as well as optimizing the text prompts. The another term which you might be hearing very frequently is hallucination. So very similar to human being, even the large language models hallucinate. So what is hallucination? So it's about like you have facts and you try to imagine something which is not part of the facts. That's basically hallucination. So for example, a language model is trained until September 2022, but you can always ask a question, what has happened, I mean, who won the soccer in 2036? It may try to answer you. So that is called hallucination. So retriever augmented generation, RAG, is helps you to manage the retrieval of the relevant knowledge base so that the hallucination can be reduced or controlled. So finally, the generative AI. This is the field of AI where generating new content absolutely without any training and without any manual intervention. So that's generative AI for you. So this is a brief introduction about how the NLP disruptions happened in the last 3 decades. So it basically started with a bag of words. Okay. And then they have started using recurrent neural networks. And it moved to embedding using word to vector. Finally, like today, what we have is transformers. So what is GPT then? GPT, it has a large language model, or I mean, it is called the foundation model. So the foundation model has huge set of data. This data could be text, or it could be images, or it could be speech, or any structured data, or it could be any 3D signals, anything, right? To put in whatever the data you want, and it gets trained actually. So based on that, like it can churn out different models. One is like it can use the model, foundation model, to as a question and answering machine, or it can do sentimental analysis. So there are various use cases like in which the transformer can generate a response for you. So this is what we have asked to generative AI. So we go to ChatGPT and then ask what is generative AI. So this we have just seen what it is. So I'll introduce you to another term, which is conversational AI. Conversational AI has started even before generative AI. I actually like conversational AI has born in sometime in 1960s when as part of people were trying to converse with each other, terminals actually. So that is where conversational AI started, and then people started developing the basic chatbots. And that is where the testing of that happened using Turing test actually. So conversational AI today, is in a very mature stage where human language can be used as an interface, because from the day the computer is invented, right? The one big challenge the human always faced is how do you interact with the computer? So this has gone through a lot of challenges, changes. And today it is a reality that we are able to communicate with natural language, what we speak. So we have seen the problem where CE members engagement is a challenge. And we have seen what is generative AI. So now marrying these two together to come up with a solution. So a typical customer experience challenges with a typical conversational AI before the Gen AI is the answer is mainly for FAQs. So only a frequently asked questions are trained because the system did not have enough capacity to understand the big contents or like ability to group the contents and then respond it actually. So this is where the Gen AI came into the picture, where there are a lot of changes happened in the way the information, natural language information is being processed and then responded. So here the responses are generated, which means like it is not predefined, and this makes it very relevant to the question what you ask. So with a large language model containing a huge knowledge base, it is able to answer the question in a more relevant way. So what is important is also you will be able to train a corpus of knowledge. So for example, you are from a credit union and you have the book of manual of I mean like now the product manual or the standard operating procedures for your staff to understand. The entire content can be trained in generative AI. And generative AI will be able to answer from that content. That is perfectly possible. And that is where the RAG comes into the picture. So the another important aspect of LLM is its ability to understand the context. Since it understands the large parameters, I mean, since it is trained with a huge number of parameters, the ability for it to understand the context is also a lot more easier. So it brings in a lot of other capabilities other than answering. It can do summarization, it can do auto correction, it can do auto suggestion. The number of use cases are like really, really huge. And finally, like you can train any data. So if you have a PDF, you can train that and then you can get an answer out of it. If you have a Word document, you can train it and you can get an answer out of it. If you have a web page, you can just type in the URL, you'll get an answer out of it. So what do we do as a solution for credit union? We need to build a complete engagement platform for the members. So the main objectives, one is to promote self-service. So the recent survey of the customers or the members shows that 67% of the members, they prefer self-service for doing simple tasks. For example, making a payment or making a transfer or checking their balance. And they prefer to talk to the human whenever they find the problem is complex. So today, the willingness of members to try self-service is like a lot more higher than how it used to be. Second goal is how do we empower our employees? So this is about like, there is a huge set of knowledge corpus we have, but for an employee to access the right information at the right time, we have to provide some tools. So that's like, how do we augment responses or like, how do we direct them to the right information for them to respond to the member whom they're talking to. And we need to provide collaborative platforms, which includes video chat for empowering the employees. So this helps them to collaborate with other agents or other members so that they can provide accurate responses to the members. The third objective or the third specific goal for the engagement platform is converting the leads. In any conversational application, the lead capture could happen at any any point of time. So we have to watch out for opportunity. So suppose if a customer wants to know the eligibility criteria of a loan, then we can show them the eligibility criteria for the loan. And if they want to have some specific information about is it eligible for more than 35 years, that's an opportunity where you can ask questions like, may I know your name, and then may I know your date of birth and your contact details. Then you capture that information. So look at every opportunity to capture the lead. Then set up the campaigns. There should be a way to send out notifications through SMS or email, track them, and then close it. Finally, there should be member satisfaction. So how do you do that? You have to measure the member satisfaction first. So ask for the feedback on every answers what you provide, or whenever there is a service completed for them. And whenever you feel like, whenever the platform feels like the customer is not happy, promptly involve the agent or the human so that they can speak to the member and then they can resolve the issues. So we talked about the solution. The solution is to build a complete engagement platform for the members so that the engagement of the members can be taken care of. So that is where, we try to introduce you to Parrot. So Parrot GPT is the product built by PurpleState, and it is a conversational AI platform with generative AI embedded. So you can train any corpus of data. Okay. So suppose if you're a credit union and then you have your products, all those products can be completely trained in Parrot GPT, and Parrot GPT will help to answer your queries. The another important aspect of Parrot GPT is also you can build a conversational application as an omni-channel interface. So what do I mean by omni-channel interface is it is not just in web. It can be available on Teams, or it can be available on mobile, or it could be available on Slack, anything. So that is Parrot GPT low-code platform for you. So your process to deploy a bot is as simple as 1, 2, 3. You train your content, you build your integrations, and then you deploy the bot. So your bot is ready, and then it is built once, and then you use it in multiple platforms. You can use it through SMS, or you can use it through Teams, or you can use it through Simple Web, or you can use it through mobile. All are possible. And what more, today, the GPT has multiple models, large language models, OpenAI, then there is Llama, there is Mistral. So we have an option to hook up to any of these LLMs. So what are the key differentiators? As I said, we have already enabled the GenAI capabilities, and we can use our own LLM models, which is hosted in our environment, or it can be using any of the cloud-based GPT frameworks. And there is a provision for human agents to respond when the bot cannot answer, or the human agent can even voluntarily pick up the calls and then they can reach out to the members, or members can also reach out to human directly. This is very important. As I said, today there is a very clear understanding from the members side on when they want to use automation or self-service and when they want to rely on human intelligence. So it is very, very important for us to provide an option for engaging the members. That should be human support is also possible. I mean, also required. It is omni-channel and it's a low-code platform. Basically, like uh, you can upload your content, you can manage your users, you can do the bot administration, everything through UI. Finally, uh, it is also possible for it to integrate with your data. So if a credit union wants to offer services like fund transfer or a balance checking, then we should integrate with the particular platform or like the backend systems of credit union. And that is perfectly possible with Parrot GPT. So I think we will do a proper demo of what Parrot GPT can do. So you'll have a very good idea. So it's going to be a quick demo of what are all the capabilities what Parrot GPT has. And before we start the demo, I'll quickly go through a typical use case what you have with credit union. So let us say like the Mountaineer is a credit union. I mean, it is doesn't exist today. So it's a imaginary one. So Mountaineer Credit Union has different people assessing system. So or Jen is it? So who has joined Mountaineer recently as a member, and they want to access it through mobile or the digital channels. There's a new graduate, and she wants to get student loan for her post graduation, and she needs the information on what documents are needed. And there is a regular branch visitor, and he can also use the online systems. He started to trust the digital channels. He wants to do the fund transfer online. And there's a millennial who wants to start an investment practice. So he's not sure what are all the products available and how he should go about it. Then there are two staffs. One is a support staff. He has joined newly, and he needs to understand the products better to serve the customers. And finally, there is support manager. Support manager is facing heat because the training is a challenge with constant churn out. But don't have to worry. There is Monty. Monty is built using the Parrot framework. So what all you need to do is like you need to go and deploy Monty in the Mountaineer website. Since there is content already available, we just take the content and then we train it and then we'll make it available in the Mountaineer. You monitor the questions periodically so that you can improve the FAQs. Then you automate the workflows and integrate with the backends of Mountaineer so that you can answer or you can help things like fund transfer or answer questions like the balance and other stuff. Train the frequently asked questions so that it can build the corpus and then it can help to answer any questions. And finally, train the synonyms so that it can understand the different vocabulary used in the credit unions. So I'll do a quick demo of how do you build a smart assistant with Parrot GPT. I'll switch to the desktop. Okay. So Parrot has Parrot Studio, which is for us to build applications. So you don't have to write code. Okay. You can do it in few minutes. So for the workshop, I have done some of this predefined. They have a Mountaineer FAQs. So Mountaineer FAQ looks like this actually. There are account information, there are transactions, loan products, auto loan, mortgage, all those. These are the different topics available. And these are the questions and these are the answers. Okay. So I assume that I already have this content. And this is for a traditional FAQ bot. So the reason, like, why I say traditional FAQ bot is, or like, conventional FAQ bot. Even though the Gen AI can generate the answer and then it can give more appropriate answers to the questions, it tends to hallucinate. So in financial institutions, some of the time what the management wants to do is they want to limit the exposure to Gen AI to the customers. Rather, they want to have predefined responses and they want that information to be shown to the customer. And that is basically like what I've shown you as FAQ. And similarly, like there is a content created called product recommender. So the product recommender basically contains all the product information, what documents it needs, what is the rate, everything, all the information is here. Okay. Student loans, and it has interest rate, what benefits are there, what documents are needed, all those things are there. Okay. So now I am going to create bot. So I sign using my ID. Okay, I have the other ID is working. So use this ID. Right, I have signed in. So let me create a new bot. I'll create as P. Okay, I'm creating it as an FAQ assistant. So how do I train it? I go there. I add content. So this is basically like, what are all the things you can add here. So I will add a content here. So I'm going to write like FAQs here. So I will upload the content. Okay. So it is loading the FAQs. All right, all done. FAQs are all here. So now I do. So these are all the questions, and this is the content for the questions. Okay, so let's pick one question. What is the difference between fixed and adjustable mortgage rate? Then there is detail about it. All right, so these are all the topics what we have seen, and it is now ready for us to go ahead and then launch abroad. All right, so bot is going to appear as Monty. Yeah, that's good. There's no welcome message. I'll just leave it welcome. And then I'll just keep the theme as it is. If I want to upload a logo, I'll go ahead and upload a logo. Okay. And any other things I have to do? No. So do I need an agent support? Yeah, let's keep the agent support. in case like, someone needs to talk to the agent. All right, so all done. We can launch the bot now. That's it. So now what you see is Monty in action. So this is the icon I have launched, and then these are the questions, and it's ready to publish. It's publishing. So Monty is ready. Let me launch. Okay, so Monty, we can chat with Monty. So what's your name? I say Monty. Okay, so you see there is a greeting. Good evening, Magesh, welcome. And then these are all the topics we talked about. Okay, so there are 3 ways for you to access the information. One is you click on the link, then you can look at the information, the questions. So for example, I want to apply loan. Okay. Yes. So this is more about like, doing a loan application for that actually. Like, let me just reset. So talk about the loan products. So talk about what are the different loan types available. So there are auto loans, mortgages, personal loans, student loans, and you can contact more. So now each and every question also carries an action. So this can take you to the relevant pages in Monty website, or you can go to the related questions. So since you have talked about loans, what you offer, then let's talk about auto loan application. So now I want to apply for auto loan. So how do I apply for auto loan? Okay. So you can launch through the digital platform. So you can just click on the digital platform and then go there. Okay, so no, I don't want to go to the digital platform. I want to find out the loan rates, auto loan rates. So auto loan rates, it shows like never interest rates are like, yeah. The same question you can also ask to the information here. So there is auto suggest. So what are the fees associated with different banking services? So it gets you the answers here actually. Okay. So now you can see, right? I mean, like, without any issues, you can just take a CSV and then you can upload it. Your bot is ready, up and running. Okay. So this is the normal FAQ bot. Okay. Now let me show you the second variation, which is basically the generative AI. So it's very similar, like, I'll create something called Monty. Generative AI. Okay. Then AI. So I create it. I can go here. I can start here. And I click on here, like, I can create a content. And then I can go and upload a content. Okay. So the training is going to expected to take some time. So let me come back here. I just created this before we started the session. So I'm just going to start on this. So GenAI comes with two different bots, classic and responsive. So let me take the classic bot. So in GenAI, you don't go by the topics. You have a lot of questions which you can answer directly and ask questions. So for example, I can ask what. Okay, so I will ask questions like now, what is the interest rate for student loan? Okay, GenAI is thinking, it's trying to generate a response. All right, it's generated the response. So there are refinance student loans, which is rate of 4 to 6%. There is additional students loan, possible rates is 5.5 to this one. Okay, and there are vendor contracts or estimates, which is like 8 to 11. I can also question like, if I know refinance student loan, I can also ask question, what is the interest rate for finance? So GenAI will try to fetch the relevant answer for this. So now you can see the answer, right, which is very specific. The interest rate for the refinance is ranging from here to here. Okay. So now, like, yeah, despite this, the person is not happy and they want to speak to the agent. So this is where, like, I'll show you. This is the agent desk. Parrot desk is basically a desk for the agents actually. Since I have already logged in as info at purpose state, I have come here. And currently, like, there is no charts. But go back to Monty. So in Monty, now you can see there's one agent online. Okay. So now I want to start with the agent. I can say I want to talk to the agent. So you can see there is a request coming from Magesh. And then this is basically like, the conversation which has happened. So he has asked about the interest rate for student loan. Okay. And this is it. Okay. So now I go and find the conversation. So I have picked up the chat now as an agent. So I'm going to say anything. So here, like it is already mentioned, thank you for it. Okay. And then now we are talking to. It's mentioned Parrot tested because like I have logged in as info at purposely. So good morning, Magesh. Is there anything I can help you with? Okay, so I'm saying like, no, I want to know what documents I need to submit for student loan. All right. So the staff is new. He doesn't know how to answer, or he's not very confident on what documents are needed. So that is where, like, now you ask the help of Parrot GPT. So say like, generate response for me. This is the question. So Parrot GPT understands the question and then it tries to generate a response. So it has the context that this user has already had that conversation and then they are talking about the student loan. So it has come up with a response for a student loan. The documents you need to include is valid identification, proof income, all those stuff. There is a lot of documents. Okay. So I can either change it as an agent. I can always say like, okay, so this looks good. So I'll just remove this. Okay. Valid identification, documents. Okay. I don't want to shun the other things. Okay, then I send the answer. Okay, valid information proof of income, that's what it is. Okay, so now you see the response. Okay, so now it's like, thank you. Okay. Is there anything we can help you? Okay. And then that's it. So they leave the conversation. So now you go back here. Now the conversation is completed. It automatically shows you the feedback. So whether it is positive, somewhat positive. Okay, let me say it. No, it's very positive. Okay, so then it is asking more question about the agent understands. So shorter than expected. I'll say 10. Okay. With the feedback. So now you want to continue the conversation? No, I just continue the conversation. So this is your overall experience, right? So we have seen, like, how easy it is to deploy a bot and how easy it is to ask questions, how easy it is to go to the tenant and stuff. So I will show you one more use case, which is basically like, so far we have seen the static questions. Now we will ask something which is specific to the customer. Okay. So this is something what I called you as like things which can be automated or like, self-service. So this is conversational AI bot. Okay. So I'll go and set up this. Okay, I open it. So this is a different way in which it is represented. So now I want to do a fund transfer. Okay, so Monty is the smart. Okay, I can help you with amount of how much okay, so now I say like, transfer to my checking account. So I have to enter my last 4 digit. I think it is 3970. Let me double check. Yeah, it is 3970. So I enter my SSN. By the way, like, it is not a real SSN, it is a dummy test we have done. So, okay, I can enter the amount I want to transfer. I want to transfer $200. So it is validating. Okay, so it has sent a 6-digit secure code to my email, and I have to look at my email. Let me go to my email. So Parrot has sent, this is the OTP. I pick the OTP. Enter the OTP. So the fund transfer is happening. Probably like, it's going to take a while. All right, yeah. So now currently have 3774. Yeah, that's really rich actually. Okay, I'll say yes, this is my balance. Okay, so now we have transferred. So from 74,567 to 74,367. Okay. No, you can say no. All right, so now I do a menu. I can go back to the menu again. So now I'll check the account balance. By the way, like, the survey which is done on credit unions shows that 92% of the people are happy to check their balance through the mobile application. So again, it is asking for the last 4 digits of this one. It's 3970. Okay, so there is the okay, now I see the reduced balance 74,367. Okay. Oh, that's it. Have a nice day. All right. So this, like, how do you do a self-service for the frequently used things? Suppose, like, if your customer service is going to be disturbed to know the balance of the members every time, rather, like, you just redirect them to the conversational assistant that is going to have a tremendous savings on your day-to-day load to the call center. So that's about the demo on Parrot. Let me get back to where I was in this. Let me resume from here. So you have just seen it. It can be a simple virtual assistant, which is what we have done first, standard set of questions and answers. Then we have added GenAI into that. Okay, so you can see the responses are very pointed. When you ask the student loan, it was showing the interest rate. Then it was when you are asking about refinancing student loan, and then there's a different response. You can add human escalation, so the agents can come and answer. Then it can be extended on special channels. Finally, what we have seen is a business integration where you can check the balance. You can do a fund transfer. So all those things is possible. Smart business assistant. All right. So what is good for Parrot GPT? It can be an information assistant. So which is what you have seen. And it is very good at educating and learning assistant. So just now, like, what you have seen, it can help you to augment the response for the agents. It can help to make the agents learn the product information and other stuff. Yeah. So especially, like, when there is process rules, when there is SOPs and other things, definitely like that. And finally, it can augment the pitch content. So it can summarize information. It can auto suggest information. All those things is possible with GenAI. So in summary, right, definitely there's a significant uptick to a traditional chatbot and GenAI. There is definitely a significant uptick. Okay. And there is a very significant opportunities to augment human capabilities. Yeah. And bottom line, right, is to save time so that your customer service can do a lot more complex things, and then they can try to win business rather than servicing business. And it improves the operational efficiency and user experience. So, a word of caution. I mean, despite all these things, what we have to be remember is, like, all the GPT is based on smart text parser. So the output is entirely depending on the input. So how good is your content is how good the answers are. And there are times when results can hide bias, and then that could be possible inaccuracy. And this is one of the reasons, like, why we say it is always better to augment the responses to the human, let the human validate and then send it. So before closing, Parrot GPT is available in multiple flavor. It is available in AWS, Azure, cloud, or, like, hosted, or it is available as a SaaS platform. So you can just subscribe and then you can start using it. But it is, while like all these are possibility, you need to be prepared with the content, and you should have some good knowledge on. You should have enough content on the knowledge repository, and if at all you want to integrate with the business services, there should be APIs. So this is typically how an enterprise implementation goes, but for a SaaS, you don't need it. You just need to bring the content and then you can deploy it and then test it. So the key takeaways, like for the credit unions, the engagement problems is, one is like embrace Gen AI. I mean, the technology is like really like coming to an age where it is ready for use. So it is important that you start embracing to Gen AI. Human still plays a key role in the AI first world. AI can be first, but human still plays a major role. Okay, and you should always build a 24/7 customer support by providing omnichannel experience. And finally, choose the right partner, because not many people has the experience or expertise in the Gen AI. So you should always choose the right partner. So with that, right, I think like I'll wind up the discussion, and I'm ready to take up any questions.
Please feel free to post your questions in the chat window or the Q&A window. If you don't